As your program advances toward long-term outcomes, have you ever wished that you had a clear roadmap to follow? Or have your stakeholders ever asked you to define how your program's resources lead to measurable results? A logic model or theory of change might be the answer. These diagrams show what a program or project does and what it expects to change along the way. Logic models can be helpful when you're planning a new program. You can test its logic over time and spot any gaps before you get underway. Logic models help ensure that everyone understands the program goals and how to achieve them. They can help you more effectively communicate your program's rationale and its key elements. They can also help with evaluation plans where you define how you will measure the success of each of your goals. Now let's look at the journey to outcomes in a different way. This is how I often introduce organizations to the logic model process. Okay, so this is you, and you're at the side of a raging river. This is the riverbank, and it's your current reality. So it's what you already know about your program, about your target population, what resources you have, what are the particular needs, and what are some of the assets of your target population or the community in which your program is being delivered. So you're standing at the side of a river and you're looking over the horizon, and at the horizon level is the long-term impact that you're hoping to achieve with your program. So how do you go from here to here? First thing is you need to figure out how to get across that river. And typically what we find with programs is that there actually are stepping stones in the river, but they're kind of scattershot throughout. And these stepping stones represent your different activities. So we often see a number of things, like there might be health fairs, there might be healthy food policies, for example. There might be classes, all kinds of different activities that a program might engage in. But unless they're lined up, you're still not going to get across the river. So what a logic model does is it helps you figure out how to line up your steps. How to align your activities so that you can get across, which then creates a strategy. Once you line those up and you get across the river, you're going to start seeing some outcomes. Initially, you're going to see the first signpost when you get across the river. These are your short-term outcomes. So essentially, those are the outcomes where you know that you've made it across. Okay? So you've reached a certain number of people, you provided a certain number of programs. Those are your short-term outcomes. And eventually, if you do achieve those outcomes, you'll start seeing more intermediate outcomes, and then eventually some long-term outcomes, maybe some changes in health status. So what your logic model is going to end up looking like is this picture turned on its side.
Many of the groups or initiatives that I've been involved with locally have, when we reach a point where we're on the verge of something and we need to pull it all together, someone will say, what we really need is Galen Ellis to come and take us on that drawing where we cross the river and go up the mountain and lay this out and so that we can make this happen.
It was very energetic, fostered a lot of really asking tough questions, really diving deep into discussion, and more importantly, giving us the understanding and making sure everyone understood exactly what a theory of change or a logic model really entails, what it looks like, what are the details involved with that, educating us on that first, and then as an agency guiding us through the process on how to develop that.
The logic model for 211 Nevada County gave those of us who came in after the founders and weren't part of the founding group a real map to follow. And we were able to see that the priorities that we had lined up with the founders, and that the strategies that they wanted us to employ were ones that we could do.
It's just great to have her facilitate that whole process. It really allowed us time to dive deep into programming and discussion around what a logic model at a high level can do for our agency, and really bring things together, ranging from our board to executive director all the way down to our receptionists, and how everyone can rally around this logic model and really contribute to the future success of our agency as a whole.